Welcome back and thanks for joining Todd the Gun Guy. All right, guys, a little backstory behind this one here. When we left the gun show the other day, my father had sold a couple guns of his. He had some old wooden rifles, stuff like that. Some older guns that he wanted to sell, so we had some money. After I had gotten my my Springfield Saint pistol, he said, hey, what about me? Let's pick something out. Last year, he ended up getting a Smith & Wesson Shield 9mm. Pretty tough to load around in, so he wanted to get something else. So just at the end, we tried every different model. We tried CZs, we tried Glocks, we tried all kinds of different things. And I said, what about the Kimber Micro 9mm? Why not? Let's take a look at it. So wouldn't you know, we get that in his hands, and it had the Hogue grip. He tried the flat handle, you know, just with the panels on the side, the crimson or the rosewood sides. Wasn't that comfortable. But when he got that Hogue grip in his hand, he fell in love. I'll tell you what, he's right. It's a nice little pistol. We took it to the range, shot it. We're going to do a quick review. Let's call this the Kimber Micro 9 Resurrection review. Let's go. It is the Kimber Micro 9 Resurrection. I say that because they actually came out with 2 new models for 2020. They're going to continue to make these. And I think once you try one out, you guys will be very happily surprised and think it's something you might have to have in your arsenal. Not like I want to read right from the Kimber specs, but I mean, the first few things it says right there is mild recoil, smooth trigger pull, and intuitive operation of a 1911. It's all of that, guys. It is absolutely all of that. I think being a heavier gun, it's not all polymer. You got your aluminum, steel slides. It's going to be heavier to the feel. Even though it is small, it's got some more weight. It's going to be less felt recoil. This is one heck of a 9mm. Small, micro, it's definitely small. Fits in the hand nice. Be a great pocket gun inside the waistband. You're wearing a fanny pack, glove box, under the seat, whatever in your state. If it's legal, it'd be great concealed carry. It's a fun little gun to shoot. This has this thumb safety there. I know people aren't big fans of safeties on concealed carry weapons. I mean, it's a pretty natural place for a safety. Thumb down, ready to fire. This model has the True Glow TFX sights. They're absolutely fantastic. They're day and night sights, which is awesome. That front sight right there is easy target acquisition. It really looks good in the range, daytime and nighttime. So it's definitely an upgraded sight system for this gun. Does have the Hogue rubber grip. Does make it a little bit wider of a gun with the wrap on it, but I'll tell you what, I think it's well worth as far as control of the gun and the feel. Ergonomics of this thing is fantastic. It's got a nice dovetail right here that fits just perfect. I mean, this gun, for me, it fits just awesome. Awesome in the hand. Barrel on this is 3.15 inches, so it is a short barrel. Easy to conceal. The recoil spring in this thing is 16 pounds, and it is single action only. If you guys aren't familiar with single action only, that means you cannot pull the trigger to release the hammer. The hammer has to be cocked in order for that gun to fire, so that's a single action only. Overall length is 6.1 inches. And the weight of this thing with an empty magazine in it is 15.6 ounces. So that's a pretty light gun for being aluminum and steel. Trigger is solid aluminum, which is nice. Solid one piece, very smooth, crisp break, and a reset. All right, so the Kimber came with a 7-round magazine. So you're going to have 7 plus 1 in this guy. We went ahead and got the 8 plus 1, so you have 9 rounds, which is awesome. So let's see what it looks like with the 7-round. The weapon is clear. The 7-round gives you some room for the pinky. Okay, my hands are pretty big, and it's off just a little bit. Okay, you can see it's just off. It is nice though. I mean, you can still get a nice grip on that gun. The 8-round magazine will actually give you just enough, in my book, in my opinion. I think that'll give you just enough for the pinky right there. That's 2 recommendations I have. 1, getting the loader, and number 2, go with the 8-round magazine. 2 reasons. A, it gives you room for your pinky, and B, you've got 8 plus 1. You've got 9 rounds in this little micro 9mm. As far as loading the Kimber Micro 9, both of them are very, very strong springs, which is a good thing. It takes a little bit to get broken in, but it's very sharp. It's a single stack, and the edges get sharp. So when you load that, be very careful right here. I'm telling you 100% they are sharp, so don't slip with your finger, and the springs are pretty tight to begin out of the box. My recommendation, we went to the actual Kimber website. This is the Uplula, is that how you say it? I'm not really sure, but the Uplula. I don't know, Uplula. Anyway, this is for a 9mm, I think 45s. But they give you this nice piece right here that comes with it. It's up inside there. You got to clip it in, and then it's got a ring right here that will actually keep it in place. That keeps the single stack in line so it doesn't float around on you. So that's what I mean by doesn't float around. So it fits in between when you're actually when you're loading. So that comes with it. It's well worth the money. It'll save your hands, save you some time and frustrations. So definitely get that. All right, with bigger hands and being a micro, I have a hard time doing a dropping a mag. Okay. What I do is I hit there, and that corner actually hits my palm right there. So it's hard for me to dump the empty mags. Before disassembly or cleaning your weapon, always make sure the gun is empty. So let's make sure it's clear. The gun is clear. You guys can see in there, there's no magazine, there is no round in the chamber, so the gun is clear. Very similar to the 45s, I believe, same type of thing. All right, you're going to see this thing is not the easiest to take down. You'll get used to it as you go, but you got to find the happy medium spot. I'll say it's right about there. See how this little notch right here, you got to get to the release right there. Hold that back right about where the half moon is there, the first one, and I go ahead on this side and pop it out, and you go ahead and just pull it right off. That's it. So if you look in the slide, you've got your spring right here, and I believe they said it was about 16 pounds with that spring. Okay, so you got that. You got to be careful. The spring does come off and does come out. Okay, so it could go flying across the room if you don't be careful with that. This half moon shape will actually go down towards the barrel when we reassemble the weapon. So you've got your barrel, lift up, slide out. You got your barrel, and you got your slide. Go ahead and reassemble the barrel just like we took it apart. You're going to want to take this, you're going to want to take your spring. You're going to want to put it in the top hole here. Make sure that the pin stays in the coil, of course. You want to push down. Now right here in this part right here, you could actually have this thing shoot across the room. Okay, so when you give this thing pressure right here, if you happen to let go, of that, it's going to go across the room. So it just sets in there. It doesn't sit on the actual barrel, it's just up above it. Now this is where you got to sort of pay attention. When you come back, you stop well short. You got to make sure this fits here. See that? Sometimes you got to make sure that goes inside there. If not, it'll hit right there. So you got to make sure that goes up and inside. You're not going to want this all the way back to here. So if you remember, we had this part right here all the way back here. To reinstall, we want this half circle right here to where the circle is for the pin, the release. Before you go to slide this all the way back, you're going to have to make sure this is in the downward position. It will catch. It will hit. You don't want to bend that or break that. You want to make sure that's down under. And take something like this. Go ahead and push it down. And then push your slide back. You want to take this half moon is going to stop here, not all the way back where you started. See on the other side? If you don't, if you go too far, see how you can't see there anymore. You want to stop right about there so you could actually see through. You want to put that pin down. It's got to go down in to be flush right there. You want to bring your half moon right to that position there. The half moon right to that slot. It fits right there. You can actually see this half moon is going to fit right in there. And that's it. Don't forget the old Todd the Gun Guy merch. We do have the windbreaker / waterproof real light shell, which are pretty cool. But we got long sleeves, t-shirts, and stuff like that. Soon to get some coffee mugs. So, other than having some complications with dropping some magazines, the disassemble, reassemble, I'm going to give this gun 4.5 out of 5 stars on my TGG rating. I definitely think you should go out and get one in your hands. I think it's going to be a good shooter and great as a micro compact pistol. And Kimber continues to make these babies. So hope you enjoyed that review. And until next time, Todd the Gun Guy!